On the night of 9/11, I stood with my fellow United States senators and representatives, both Republicans and Democrats, on the steps of our United States Capitol to assure our fellow citizens that our government had not shut down, would not shut down, could not be shut down. It is absolutely unthinkable that we would even contemplate doing so here in Minnesota. So I ask you, legislators, I invite you, I implore you to join with me now, right here in our Capitol, and pledge to the people of Minnesota that we will not shut down their government, our government, not next July 1st, not any July 1st, not any day ever. Thank you. Thank you. I can envision a better future. I know what we must do to create that better future for all of us. To progress, we have to invest. We have to invest in jobs, in education, in transportation, in the health of our people, communities, and environment, and in the transformation of government. That is my 5-point plan for Minnesota's future prosperity. Our children's futures are in our hands. Their futures are our responsibility. I ask the legislature to follow my lead and increase state funding for K-12 education. That doesn't mean more money to maintain the status quo. To the contrary, every additional dollar we spend on education should be directed toward improving the quality of that education. I ask the legislature to help me find the additional money as soon as possible to make all-day kindergarten an option for every child in Minnesota. I ask the legislature to consider creating a transportation finance authority chaired by the MnDOT commissioner to bring together the best minds and their ideas for financing the transportation improvements upon which our future social and economic vitality depend. National economists, commenting on continuing high unemployment, say a crucial factor holding back job growth is that construction has not yet revived. That is my bonding bill's initial purpose, to put up to 28,000 unemployed Minnesotans in the private sector construction industry back to work. I want businesses everywhere in Minnesota to feel wanted, valued, and appreciated by everyone in our administration. I've asked the heads of our departments of agriculture, natural resources, the IRB, and the tourism office to work closely with businesses in those important industries which are so vital to our state's prosperity, especially in greater Minnesota.
I guess the one thing that struck both Amy and I is that whenever we're talking about the future of our country, of our state, of our employers, you don't make a state or an organization stronger by looking backwards. You look forward. You change, and from all across this great country, from California to New York, Republican and Democrat governors all across the great state have said, our great country have said, that by raising taxes in tough economic times, it's not a good idea. We agree with Governor Cuomo and Governor Brown. I'll let that sink in for a minute. Raising taxes during tough economic times will do detriment to your state's economy. We provide an alternative solution, which is alternative teacher license, which is looking at reforming state government, which is looking at the actual dollars were spent instead of going back to programs that may have worked decades ago or multiple decades ago as a new solution for this new millennium. We look forward to working with the governor on things we agree on, but we see our faith doesn't lie in a new government program, or for that matter, an old government program. Our faith lies in the business women and men of our great state, our great teachers who want to look forward to accountability, our great state workers who have actually offered reform, but in a lot of times have been turned down. So our faith isn't a new government program or an old government program for that matter. It's in our great citizens of our great state, and we do think the state of the state of Minnesota is very strong, and it's going to get even stronger by focusing on our citizens and our private sector economy.
Just to echo a little bit of what Speaker Zellers had to say, I mean, I would agree. There was an article on Monday in the Wall Street Journal talking about governors, both sides of the aisle, and what they're doing to cut taxes. Governor Scott in Texas is issuing a budget that cuts state spending by $5 billion and overhauls public employee pensions. Democrat Governor Kitsabar of Oregon has proposed a 2-year budget that would make cuts to mental health institutions and reduce the state Medicaid reimbursements. You know, that's the kind of talk you have. I appreciate the governor's, comments on investing, and I think we all share some goals in doing good things for the state. But I would submit that he is making promises that he does not have the dollars to support and to keep those promises. We heard he mentioned his income tax plan. And I would argue there was no support on the Republican side of the aisle, and it was tepid at best on the DFL side of the aisle. And so, rolling out sort of this idea of the 5-point plan, a little short on specifics there, but even with that, he's making some promises there that I'm not sure how he can keep them.